Hey, happy National Tequila Day, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Thirsty Amigos. We are going to be celebrating National Tequila Day today, and we are going to go over. How am I going to explain this? I'm going to go over how tequila is made, but a Reader's Digest version. We're going to have a really expanded view of it from way back, but there's a lot more in depth. Details about every step of the way for making tequila from start to finish. So I made a video about Blancos before we started our big Blanco battle last year. I'll put a link down there. What is Blanco tequila? And it goes a little bit, it's going to go way more in depth than what I am right here. But it stops at the end of when Blanco is done. Okay, so it doesn't go over aging. So we'll go over a little bit of aging on this video. Like I said, I'm going to do a really expanded version of it. So because it is National Tequila, we need to get some tequila. So I'm going to start with some El Tesoro olive oil bottle, Blanco, or if you want to say this one, what's this one? Platinum. And this one is lot 1094 from May 11th, 2012. So if you just saw my last video, you know we went over olive oil bottles and white label bottles. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out. It's really cool video. Turned out pretty good. Okay. All right, guys. Hopefully you have something in your glass celebrating today. So I raise my glass to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for finding us. And salute. Oh, yes. All nice and creamy, peppery. Ooh, that's good. All right, salute. All right, let's get started. I'm going to try to make this quick, like I said. So we are going to go, we're going to start with the base material. We're going to start with the blue agave plant. So here is what the blue agave plant looks like. It's grows out in the fields. It can get pretty tall. And here it is. It's a very unique color. There's fields of it out there in the town of Tequila and the 5 states that you can grow it. To get it, this is the humidor. He's gonna Hima de agave. He's going to chop off the leaves. So first he's going to pick a ripe plant. He's going to pick a ripe agave, and then he's going to cut the leaves off. So he's going to Hima de agave. So he's going to chop off the pincas. And that tool that he's using is the koa. So he sharpens that up really sharp. I mean, it'll chop off any foot, fingers, hands, anything like that. So he's going to pick one out of the ground. And, you know, they do these for demonstrations when we were there. This is in 2009 when I was in there for the conference that was down there. So he picks a plant, and now he's going to start chopping out. So he removes it from the area that it is so he has more room. And then he just starts processing the plant with the koa. So he's going to chop off all the leaves. And this is a thing too. It depends on how much of the leaf you leave on can really determine the flavor of your agave or your tequila, your end product, because you're leaving more of the green part of the leaf. And some will shave it really close where you see like no green. Like I know Patron does that. They shave it really good. Double shave, they'll say. They'll process it like this out in the field, and when it gets back to the distillery, they chop it even more. There's me doing my little demonstration on mine. So after the agaves are processed in the field, they're going to bring them back in a big truck, and they're going to dump them at the distillery. And this is La Oteña, where El Tesoro and at the time Ocho was being made there, and Tapatio, the sister brand. So they're going to come in. This is where the whole piñas you just saw, they're going to chop them in half so they can stack them in these ovens. So these brick ovens right here is what they're going to cook these in. And I know you can cook in a couple different types of ovens and autoclaves that you can cook in. But right now we're going to talk about them stacking them in. So they're going to cook these agaves, but they got to load them up. This one on the right is full of agaves, and you'll see here in a second. I'll show you, but they hand load each oven by hand, and even the autoclaves. And the autoclaves look like a big oh, those big campers that look like a big bullet going down there with all stainless steel. It looks like one of those, the Airstreams. So you can see that one was full, and they seal the doors up, these huge metal doors. And so in here is, this one's just being loaded. There's our El Jimador right there. He's playing double duty today. He's a busy guy. So yeah, so you can see how big these ovens are. So they have a lot to process, or a lot to load up into those ovens and cook them. And here's back at La Tinia. So then they're going to go and load them into the ovens. And once in the ovens, they're going to cook them. And here's a finished batch of agaves right here at La Tinia. And these are finished too. So they look and taste and feel like a baked sweet potato with like some cinnamon and sugar mixed in it. Is the closest thing I can put it to. In the brick ovens, it's going to take like 36 to 72 hours to cook. It's a slow process. Autoclave, which looks like a big Airstream, you got two different ways to cook those. You have low pressure and high pressure. So those can take as long as a brick oven or as quick as 10 to 15 hours, depending on how they're cooking it. And once all the agaves cook, what they're going to do, they're going to process the cooked agave. So this is a Tres Mujeres, and they are using a shredder. So this is a shredder method right here. So this guy's going to take the cooked agave, he's going to load it in this huge shredder, shreds it up. Pieces are flying everywhere. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And then it's going to go into this roller mill right here, where it's going to, the shredded pieces are going to get washed, and they're going to collect the juice. We're going to call it juice, the liquid from that cooked agave. So these cooked agaves are really, there's the juice being collected right there. Is really they're really moist. When you taste one, it just when you mash it in your hand, it's just all kinds of liquid coming out of it. And so there's some of the water they're using to help rinse the fibers off, so they get every bit of it. I don't know if you saw in the back there, some of the fibers are being loaded into a truck back there, so they'll take them out into the field and use them for compost, or they'll compost them at a separate facility. But there's the tequila, or the juice, getting collected right there. Oh, it's pretty cool. So once they collect that, and so this is the shredder method. The other popular method that's getting more popular, but you don't see it as much, is the Tahona. And this is the Tahona at Siete Leguas. So you see that yellow machine right there, that's still a shredder. So some places, and I think G4 does it too, they'll pre-shred with Igor or Felipe and Igor. They'll use the combination. So they'll shred part of it and then put it in the Tahona pit. And Siete Leguas is one of the places that still uses mules to pull their Tahona stone. A lot of places now are mechanical. They'll use a tractor, you'll see here in a minute, at La Tinia. But it's crushing those cooked agaves, and you can see, look at all that juice running down on there. And so as it's going on there, there's they collect it underneath the pit there. It's being collected as it goes. I still need to get to Fortaleza, but they have a neat, you can look that up online. There's a lot of videos of how they wash and process their cooked agaves, but they use a Tahona as well. And so does Patron. Patron has 14 Tahonas, but they're all on a mechanical wheel that pushes it around and stuff. It's kind of neat. If you ever see that, you can look that up. Yeah, so this is the Tahona room. Siete Leguas uses part shredder, part Tahona for their tequilas, is what they use. And they treat these mules really nice. They give them a break. They'll swap them out. Can't remember. I'll have to look at my notes how long they use the mules, but they're treated really well. And that stone that is a big, huge volcanic stone that they use, and after a while it gets wore out, and they have to replace it with a new one. Like this is back at La Tinia, so their cooked agaves are put in this pit, and you can see they really haven't started the crushing yet. I think because our tour came through, they stopped. But you can see their stone, it's kind of worn down on that one side pretty good. So I wonder if they have to rotate it to help get evenly crushed. But same thing, El Tesoro is 100% Tahona crushed, and Tapatio, the sister brand, is shredder. With the shredder on this one is in the background there. You can kind of see it back there. It's kind of a light blue color. That's the shredder for the Tapatio. But the Altosauroside's over here. There's Carlos. They're saying two old mules pulling a Tahona stone. Then we go. So once they crush the cooked agaves, they collect the liquid, the juice. Now we're going to ferment. So now it's time for fermentation. So there's like 3 different ways you can ferment. These are stainless steel tanks right here. They have wooden tanks, and then that concrete. I can't talk. Concrete vats too, where it's just concrete holes basically that they made our container and they ferment it. But these are stainless steel. They put the liquid in here. These are not heated up or anything. The yeast that is when they're fermentation, they're going to use the yeast to get everything going. And what's going on here is the yeast is turning the carbohydrates to sugars, the sugars to alcohol. And that's why it's bubbling. It's not being heated at all. That's just the natural process that it goes through. So it's bubbling. You can taste it. Tastes decent. It's pretty cool. You should always, if you ever get to go, taste it for sure. Don't shy away from it. It's not disgusting, but it's a unique flavor. So here's the wooden fermentation vats here. So this is at La Tenia. They have all kinds of different sizes. Some of these look pretty ancient from way back in the day. I'll have to see if I have notes on how old some of these fermentation tanks were. But the yeast you can use natural yeast, brewer's yeast, champagne yeast is a big one. But sometimes they will have a proprietary yeast that they use, and it's a top secret thing, so you won't know what kind of yeast to use. La Tenia uses natural yeast to ferment, because you can see it's all open up there. They don't put anything in there to help start it, but there it is right there. So you can see it being activated and everything. And I forgot what this guy is squirting on here, but he is making them happy. So yeah, so you can see those bars back there. It's all open. So whatever's in the air is what the yeast is going to get in there and start to ferment. And fermentation, depending on the location, if you're way up high in the highlands or if you're low, can take 3 to 5 days, 7 days, if it's a quick yeast and stuff. And it also depends on the type of yeast you're using and time of year. So if it's a higher up elevation and it's the colder time of year, fermentation is going to take longer. That yeast likes to be hot and warm, and it'll do its job more quickly. But if it's colder out, it could take up to 12 days, almost a couple weeks. So it depends. So you're at the mercy of when the yeast is ready. So when it's done doing its thing. So then after fermentation, we are going to go to distillation. So you take the fermented juice and we're going to distill it. And by law, distillation is twice. Okay, they distill twice. Some places will distill more. Casa Noble used to do it 3 times. I think there's another newer brand that does a 3rd distillation. It escapes me right now. But they do 3 times. But 2 times is the law. Back there we just saw stainless steel fermentation. Or stainless steel distillation. These are all alembic stills, and then these are the copper ones. So that last was El Tequileno. This is back at La Tenia, and they use all copper alembic stills. So they say copper, especially with tequila, when you distill that, it really imparts a really good flavor. So you want to see copper. If they're all stainless, as long as they have a copper coil somewhere in there to introduce some of the copper into the fermentation, or distillation, that's okay. Here's Carlos. He's explained these fermentation tanks to his right are super old. They're held together with clamps. They're just clamped together. And the one behind him that he's pointing at now is bolted together. But the ones over there, these 2 over here, they're just copper clamps just all around it, really close. That's how it was made. That's how it seals. It's pretty amazing that they don't blow up or leak or anything. So that's pretty cool. You can see all the clamps right there, even on the top. So yeah, those are some old alembic stills. So Once distillation is good, you got the first distillation. You got the ordinario that comes off. It's like a lower proof alcohol. It's not very strong at all, but you can taste it and drink it. But then after the second distillation, that's when it's going to uh, shoot up in the alcohol. And this is right off the still. You'll hear still strength right here when it comes off the still. This is Carlos. He is measuring the proof, or the how what percentage of alcohol this is, and he said it was, so this was around, what do you say, 160 proof. So it was pretty strong. It was a little over the 100, so it was over the 110 or the 55%. So it was just over 110 proof. But it was really good. And then traditionally, he was serving it, having us taste it out of a goat horn, which is pretty cool. And on premise, you can buy the goat horns, and which I did, and soaked it in some tequila, and then that way you can taste it. Okay, so after distillation, your Blanco's done, but then you can age it. So that's what these are. These are some of the barrel rooms. First one was Siete Leguas. This is back at La Latina. You can see there's a huge barrel right there. And so these barrel rooms, they usually use used bourbon barrels. There they are right there. Bunch of them like there. And just so you know, a used bourbon barrel, normal bourbon barrel like Jack Daniels, Buffalo Trace, any of those are 200 liter barrels. So they're big, but they're 200 liters are the size. 53 gallons is what they hold right there. Look at Carlos's barrels. Look how old those look. They're so worn out. And that huge barrel like there, he was trying to make a reposado out of that, because by law, a reposado just has to be in wood for at least 2 months, up to whatever it can be, depending on the size, really. But añejo and extra añejo have size limits on the barrels. So the añejo, as we all know, is at least 1 year in an oak, and it has to be a max size of 600 liters. Okay, so if you figure a Jack Daniels barrel is 200 liters, you can get a wood container 3 times that size and still call it an añejo once it goes from 1 year up to 3 years. After 3 years, it turns into there's Grover right there. He was on the trip with me. We went down there. It was for the World International Tequila Conference. So same thing with extra añejo, 3 years plus. It can go as far as it needs to, as long as the max container size is 600 liters. So here's a huge one. So the reposados can go in these pipones right here. Our buddy Amigo Tom's right there for size. 25,000 liters. So it can be in there for as long as it needs to be for a reposado. El Tequileno has that famous reposado rare. It's a 6-year reposado. Look at these beautiful. This is at Tequilas del Señor. Their barrel room is beautiful. So yeah, so the barrels, wood container size is key to being able to call out what you can. So reposado can be as long as you need it, as long as you want it to, as long as it's touching wood, and you can call it whatever you want to. Because yeah, those big pipones like that are, and in the knob it doesn't say what size it needs to be, just that it touches oak or encino oak for at least 2 months. And then añejo, 1 year to 3 years is usually the standard. Max 600 liter container or wood container. It's got to be oak or encino oak. Same with extra añejo. It's got to be 600 liters or less. Can't be beyond that. And 3 years plus. I mean, there's some nowadays you're getting past the 10-year mark on some of these extra añejos, which back in the day, if you had like a 7, anything over 5 years was considered like, wow, what are you guys doing and stuff. So, but now it's not unheard of the past 5 years. So, and I say good for it, because I love a good aged extra añejo. So that is how tequila is made, and really quick. Like I said, there's a lot more to it, a lot more rules and regulations, a lot more finer details how to tell. There's a whole bunch more. So we'll cover that another time. But if you want to go look at how Blanco is made, or what is a Blanco video, I'll link it below, and you can get a little bit more in depth on the process. It's a longer video, so take your time, watch it at lunch or something. But thanks for joining me on National Tequila Day. If you hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons, I'd appreciate it. It really helps us out. And I'm going to toast you one more time, and we'll see you next time. Salud.